Hey everyone, I am Prashant Nayak. Welcome to this video, where I am going to explain about my project data visualization, mobile app privacy and user behavior. In this project, I analyzed how real users interact with mobile app permissions, how aware they are of their data being sold, and whether privacy concerns actually change their behavior like uninstalling apps. I used a dataset of 1000 users from different countries and built a series of visualizations by using Python, like specifically using pandas, matplotlib library and seaborn. Yeah, let's dive into this. The dataset overview. First, let me introduce you to the dataset. We have 1000 user records. If you see here, these are the 1000 users records. Yeah, up to 17 columns, covering things like age, gender, country, occupation, and device type, Android or iOS. And the primary app used there, its category like social, gaming, utility, daily usage in minutes, and how many permissions they granted or denied, the privacy consent level, and from data to 1 to 10, whether they read privacy policies, whether they knew their data was being sold, and finally they actually in uninstalled an app because of privacy concerns. The data set includes users from countries like different countries like India, USA, UK, Germany, Canada, Brazil, South Korea, Australia, and so on. It's a generally global sample. Users come from diverse occupations, students, software engineers, healthcare workers, teachers, and business owners, like others. Who are the users? Let's start by understanding who these users are. The age distribution chart shows that users range from 16 to 64 years old with an average around 40 years. The distribution is fairly even, which is great because it means our findings are skewed toward just young or older users. Next, device type. 66 users are 66% users are on Android, 34% are on iOS. Yeah, this is close to real world market share globally, so the dataset is realistic. The most popular app categories like are social apps like Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat are at 45% and gaming are 31%. Utility apps are at 24%. This tells our dataset is dominated by social media users. On, pre- on screen, if you see here privacy consent level histogram plus box plot Android vs iOS. Now the core question: how the consent are users about privacy? The privacy level histogram shows that consent levels are spread across the scale from 1 to 10 with a mean of around 5.6 out of 10, which users are moderately concerned, not panicking but not completely different either. What is really interesting is when we compare Android with iOS users, the box plot shows that iOS users tend to report slightly higher privacy concern levels than Android users. This could be iOS users are generally more aware of Apple's privacy first marketing, or because iOS gives more visible permission controls. And when we look at the data sold awareness, yeah, data set awareness, with nearly 47% users don't know their data being sold. That's most half of the sample. This is a critical finding because awareness directly affects consent levels. Permission and behavior. Let's talk about what users actually do when it comes to app permissions. On average, users grant about 4 permissions and deny about 2. So, most users are accepting the majority of permissions that app request, often without reading what they are agreeing to. The gender and permissions chart shows small but visible difference on average. The numbers are fairly comparable across genders, but slightly variations exist that could be prompt for further investigations in larger study. Now, the most striking chart, the uninstalled pie chart. 31 31.8 percentage of users, nearly in 1 in 3, have uninstalled an app specifically. because of privacy concerns. That's the most significant number. It tells about the privacy isn't just an abstract worry for users, it's actually changing real behavior. The remaining 68% did not install, which means most users tolerate privacy risks either out of convenience or lack of awareness. Who actually reads privacy policies? Read count plot which read privacy policy by gender. When we look at the who reads privacy policies, only 35% of users said yes. That means of 65% users are never read privacy policies of apps they install. The chart also breaks this down by gender, and the pattern holds across both. Most users regardless of gender skip the privacy policy entirely. This is a real world problem. Apps bury important data sharing terms deep inside long legal documents, and most users just tap agree without reading. This visualization is the one of the most important in the project. It shows awareness and behavior are disconnected. Yeah, this is the usage based consent privacy regression plot, which is daily usage based privacy consent level. One, the scatter plot with a regression line shows the relation between um, yeah, this is the chart regression plot. The scatter plot with the regression line shows the relationship between daily usage minutes and privacy consent level. The regression line is almost flat, meaning there is little correlation between how long someone uses their phone and consent about privacy. This is actually a valuable finding. It tells that heavy users don't necessarily worry more. You could be using your phone for 90 minutes a day and still not be particularly concerned, or vice versa. The correlation heat map confirms this. The numeric variables is the data show very strong linear correlations with each other privacy which means privacy behavior is driven by multiple complex factors, not just one metric. The key finding summary. Yeah. Finding 1, moderate consent, not alarm. The average privacy consent level is 5.6 out of 10. Users care but not deeply enough to change most of their behavior. Nearly half of don't know their data is sold. 47% users are unaware that their data is not being monetized. Awareness campaigns are clearly needed. 65% never read their privacy policies. This is a major gap. Even if a user is concerned about privacy, they often don't read the documents that explain what is happening with their data. 1 in 3 users have uninstalled over privacy app. Privacy concerns do lead to action for a significant minority, showing that trust matters in app retention. Usage time doesn't predict consent. Spending more time on apps doesn't make users more privacy conscious. Improvements and future. If I were to extend this project further, the machine learning model using the existing features to build a classifier that predicts whether a user will install an app due to privacy concerns. Features like privacy consent level, data sold awareness, and permissions granted would be strong predictors. The country level analysis, the geographic heat map showing privacy consent levels, uninstalled rates by country. Different regions have very different attitudes toward digital privacy. For example, GDPR in Europe might mean European users are more aware. Yeah. App level deep dive. I mean, analyzing which specific apps, TikTok, Snapchat, WhatsApp, etc., Instagram, etc., are most associated with high consent or uninstalls. Time series component. If we had longitudinal data, we could track whether awareness is increasing over time as media attention on data privacy grows. Interactive dashboard. Converting these static visualizations into an interactive table or Power BI dashboard for a explorable experience. Yeah, that's a wraps up my project on mobile app and user behavior. The core message is clear that users are somewhat aware of privacy risks, but awareness doesn't always translate into action. Almost half doesn't even know their data is being sold. I hope this visualization project gave you meaningful insights. Yeah, about the privacy and privacy concern. Thank you for watching this video.